Hey guys, I'm back. It's been a while. That is due to one, school is kind of kicking my ass, not gonna lie, and two, I am in the process of making an album. Video on that soon. Whenever I get the record done, gonna do a video for that. Super excited for you all to hear that. But let's talk about Kid Cudi. As most of you know, Cudi has been a part of my music for a pretty long time now. I'd say for probably at least the last 5 years. And while I do love most of his discography, I can't say I've loved every song he's put out over the years. But I can't not do a ranked episode for Kid Cudi because, come on, he's one of my favorite dudes of all time. So let's hop right in. Coming in at number 7 is the obvious dud in Cudi's discography, Speeding Bullet to Heaven. Now, I don't think I hate this record as much as a lot of people do, but I can't say I particularly enjoy it. There are a couple songs that I'll return to every now and then, those being Confused, Adventures, and Judgmental C-Word. But the rest of the record is just like, it's kind of a snooze fest. It's really hard to sit through. I don't really get the point of the Beavis and Butthead skits, and I am a huge Beavis and Butthead fan, a very recent fan at that, as I watched the entire series over the summer, and it's so dumb and I love it so much. But as for Speeding Bullet to Heaven, not a huge fan. I appreciate the risks Cudi took, but it's just really, really not my cup of tea. And then coming in at number 6 is, I believe, the predecessor to that record, Satellite Flight. And Satellite Flight is definitely an improvement from Speeding Bullet to Heaven, but it's still not that great. There are some Cudi stands out there that absolutely love this record, and I've tried to wrap my head around why, and I just can't figure it out. There's some songs on here that are just purely instrumentals, and like, at least have Cudi hum over it, dude. Like, I don't want to just listen to Cudi instrumentals. That's not why I listen to them. There's a song on here, though, called Too Bad I Have to Destroy You Now. And I was scrolling through YouTube the other day, and apparently it was kind of a version of a scrapped Kanye and Cudi collab song. And that song was really good. But I didn't care much for Too Bad I Have to Destroy You Now, although I will say it's one of the better songs on the record. Ballman Jeans is also another highlight for me. It's a pretty good atmospheric vibe. But the rest of the record, apart from the closing track, just really doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this record. It's only 10 songs. I think like 3 of them at least are just instrumentals. So, yeah, I don't know. Number 4 and 5 were really hard to distinguish what I wanted to put where, but I actually ended up putting Passion Pain and Demon Slaying at number 5. And I'll talk more about that in the next entry, but let me talk about Passion Pain and Demon Slaying. So after a couple years of releasing albums that just didn't really pan out for me, Cudi comes out with this 2016 record, and for the most part, it's really good. The first half of the record, there's no misses. Like, Frequency has a great opener. Cudi uses some of his classic traits, like his humming and stuff. Swim in the Light's an even better song, which reimburses those Cudi themes that we're so used to hearing when he first came out. Releaser's a really interesting song, but it does drag on a bit longer than I think it should. By Design's probably the best thing on here. It's an absolute banger. Andre 3000 and Kid Cudi just going back and forth. It's not like a lyrical masterpiece or anything, but just the grooves and rhythms in that are insane. The greatness continues with Illusions. I like that hook quite a bit. Rose Golden is amazing with a Willow feature that I didn't really expect to like, but I think she absolutely destroyed the hook. It's awesome. After that, though, the record kind of declines in quality for me, apart from a few standouts such as Wounds, Does It, and Surfin'. Other than those 3 tracks, the back half on the record just does not match the top half's quality, and that is the main reason I had to put this above the next record, number 4, which is Indica. Now, dude, I'm not gonna lie, Indica has its own problems, but I do think it's a slightly more cohesive project than Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying. Although it doesn't start off that strong with another instrumental track and then Unwittable. I mean, I'm not even monetized, so I probably could swear, but just in case, dude. But this thing kicks off after those two tracks with Just What I Am, which was entirely produced, mixed, rap by Cudi. There's a chip feature on there, which you absolutely love to see on a Cudi record. I really love the hook on this. Yeah, it's one of the only songs on Indica that feels like classic Cudi, and I appreciate that he was trying to do something new, but I love when he goes back to his roots. Immortal is another song that does this, and this is a candidate for my favorite Kid Cudi song. I know a lot of people can't get into it because the singing's off key and whatever, but I mean, it's Cudi. The singing's usually off key. For me, it's not that big a deal because the hums completely make up for it. That hook just makes me want to, I don't even know, like go skydiving or something. Solo Duo Part 2, Kendrick Lamar, pretty good feature, pretty good song. And then Red Eye with Haim is fantastic too. It's pretty much just a Haim song, but I really like it. There's not much Cudi on it, but it's one of those songs that you could just throw on at like 2 a.m. on the way home and just really vibe to it. Bees is pretty interesting with RZA. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think the beat's pretty dark and cool, and then this track leads into Brothers, which is a posse cut, and one of the hardest Cudi songs out there. Extremely underrated. That A$AP Rocky feature is so good. Apart from that, though, most of the other songs on here I don't really care for. It's just a matter of I like these songs so much that I had to put it above Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, but I would say consistency-wise they're about even. Both of them are pretty inconsistent, but when they have great moments, they're really great. Now, the rest of the records on here I really love. I don't think they have many duds, if any, but number 3 is Man on the Moon 2, and if you would have asked me 2-3 years ago, this probably would have been my favorite Cudi album, but I don't know. So many classics on here. A fantastic opening track with a great CeeLo hook. This is definitely Cudi's probably darkest project. I know Indica was kind of going for that darker sort of vibe, but I think this did it a lot better. Indica has more of a cocky vibe to me, I would say. Yeah, man. Let me just look at the list of songs on here. Revo Fev, fantastic hook. You can say that about every song on this album, man. This has some of his best songs in his catalog, though. The 4-song stretch from The End to Trapped in My Mind is one of the best ever. The End just gives you this hopeless vibe that everything, you're just done. All Along, my god, like going from The End to All Along is just the perfect way to put you into a catatonic depression. But Ghost makes you even more depressed somehow. But it's in a way that's kind of a banger. And Trapped in My Mind, it's one of the most relatable songs I've ever heard. So, dude, Man on the Moon 2, me like gushing over it right now probably makes you wonder why I didn't put it at number 1. But these top 3 albums are just so good that I don't even know what to do. Coming in at number 2, I actually put his newest LP, Man on the Moon 3. This has some of his best singing in years, dude. Some of his best melodies, best hooks. I just really like the atmosphere of this one. It feels futuristic and fresh. The way it starts off with tequila shots, dude, ridiculous. Another Day, ridiculous. She Knows This, that bass, ridiculous. A lot of people compared him to Travis Scott, which is an understandable comparison, but I don't think he was ripping him off in any way. Like, this is all a pretty creative and different venture and pathway for Cudi. I mean, don't get me wrong, the influence is clearly there, but you can't look at Travis and say Cudi didn't influence him, so, yeah. But, yeah, man, this isn't, like, as deep as his other projects, I would say, but this does a better job at putting you in his mental state than any of his other albums, I think. I really like how it starts off with a bunch of bangers and kind of goes back into some more personal cuts, and then back in the bangers. Lord I Know, epic closer. When he said "to be continued" at the end, I was like, whoa, we might be getting a Man on the Moon 4 in the future, so that would be sick. But I mean, I'm happy with the trilogy as it is right now, so I have faith in Cudi. No matter what he does in the future, I'm sure I'm gonna like it. So number one, you already know, Man on the Moon, The End of Day. What can I even say, dude? What can I even... The amount of people this record influenced, not even just in the music industry, but as people just living everyday life, it's insane how many people he touched with this record. And it's clear why. He took these deeply personal subjects and kind of shed light on them, sort of added an uplifting sound that also had a certain sadness to it, and I guess people just really related to that, myself included. This is an album that just makes you feel like everything's gonna be okay, and there aren't many albums that can do that. I said in my other Kid Cudi video, Pursuit of Happiness is my favorite Kid Cudi song, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. I don't know if it's because that song came out when I was younger, or if that sort of nostalgia has something to do with it, but it just never gets old. Every time I listen to it, I can relate to it in some way, and I feel that way with pretty much every other song on this record too. So yeah, that's gonna do it, guys. Let me know what your opinion is in the comments. Appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for that album video. I guess I'll see you next time. Later.